Hey everyone, how is everyone doing, huh? Well, I'm doing my podcast on this Saturday. What the hell's going on with my sleeve? Jesus Christ. Um, I don't know why the hell am I wearing this shirt. But in any case, I guess because it's kind of warm, and it's March 28th, 2020. But Northeast, we still have the fucking cold weather, right? I don't know. Is that the cold wave air from the fucking North Canada in one of those, like, right? One of those. How is everyone doing, by the way, huh? Um, yeah, so I'm doing my podcast on, sorry, I have to take a lot of breaths, deep breaths, which is actually good for your heart. So yeah, I'm doing my podcast on this Saturday because tomorrow I was supposed to meet my girlfriend, but then she told me that she has to work until like 8 o'clock tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. So we're gonna meet on Wednesday. Wait a minute, everything is fucking closed down. So why is she working until 8 o'clock at night? Oh, because it's takeout only. She works in a cafe. She goes to school in Midtown, Manhattan. Manhattan. But she works in a cafe, in the so-called gentrified portion of Inwood, New York, right? Hold on a second. I got this Microsoft Surface on that, and then a lot of distractions over there. In any case, how are you all doing given this Jesus fucking emergency? Like, it's like the three tri-states are going to be like shut down. Is that what it is now? Because of this fucking coronavirus? Huh? I have no freaking idea. But New York now is the epicenter. Epicenter of the number of cases. I mean the US. And then within the US we have most cases in New York, right? And so I think the cases in California are also going up. But for some fucking reason, New York, because of the population, because we're too close to each other, on top of each other, But luckily in Jersey City, where I live, in the waterfront, I don't think we have a lot of cases. I see a lot of people, going about their lives, walking the dogs, going to the cafe, picking up the sandwich, whatever the hell it is, right? Although I have been doing a lot of cooking because I just did the social distancing, and I also bought this. My ex-boss told me about this app. It's called Cardia, and then I also bought this, where it tells you your heartbeat. Remember I told you guys that I was having some issues with my heart. So I take a lot of deep breaths. And I get that like kind of in the morning, that I feel that when I wake up, my heart starts like fucking racing for some fucking reason, right? So what I do is that I take a lot of deep breaths, and then I go back to sleep for like at least like another hour or so. And I drink a lot of water as soon as I get up. So, this is the other fucking problem, right? So on the 31st, I was supposed to have a sonogram, where they actually check the structure of the heart to make sure that the structure of the heart is okay. You know, I was supposed to have that on the 31st, and some lady called me from the clinic, and she says, we have to cancel the appointment. I'm like, why? She said, because the clinic is closing down. I'm like, okay, but why is it closing down? I didn't ask her that because that's not my fucking problem. I'm like, okay, so, you know, apparently, according to my cardiologist, I might have a heart condition, although we don't know yet. That's why we were supposed to do this sonogram. And so she said, yes, this will have to be rescheduled for May. I'm like, wait a minute, but did the doctor tell you it is okay for it to be moved to May? And she said, yes. We spoke to your doctor, your cardiologist, and he said that I will be fine. Means I won't be dead by May for this test to happen, right? I'm like, okay, great. But in any case, so I don't think I wanted to do that on the 31st anyways because I don't have fucking health insurance. So we finally applied for Oscar, you know, in Jersey. Like it's like a nationwide health insurance. We submitted all the paperwork. My office manager did that. So starting April 1st, and then, so yeah, because I don't want to fucking go to the hospital or if I have to do any fucking tests, you know, without any fucking health insurance because I'm going to get a fucking like huge fucking, you know, bill from the hospital. So fuck that. And I'm glad she called me and rescheduled it. You know why? Because of this whole fucking coronavirus. Because everybody's fucking afraid, and they want basically just they don't want anybody in the hospital or even in the fucking emergency room unless you are dying, and then you end up in fucking emergency room, right? So my cardiologist thinks that my issue is not serious, and so he moved it to fucking May. So there we go. Well, the healthcare industry in this country is so fucked up. No wonder why we have all these fucking coronavirus cases. Well, I mean, I don't want to sound like a illogical person, but I guess, wait a minute, are the two related by any chance? Yes, I think so. Healthcare industry gives you like a fucking heart attack to begin with, you know? And on top of that, you get this fucking coronavirus, and you're fucking old, or you have some sort of a fucking pre-existing condition, right? And I know few people that I know who actually got this fucking virus. I don't have it. Hopefully not. Who knows? I mean, in 14 days, I hope not. Because I have been like isolating myself, you know, the only place I go to is grocery store. Although I went to ShopRite on Marine Boulevard here on the waterfront, you know. So they were announcing, you know, they were constantly announcing in the fucking, you know, it's a huge fucking grocery store, you know. And they were announcing like constantly that please keep 6 feet distance from all the patrons around you or all the people around you, you know. I'm like, fuck this. So I went there to just pick up some like diet ginger ale, you know. I'm like, fuck this. So I went into the, you know, self-checkout. And then there was a couple there. They had like a half like a, you know, like a cart filled with all kinds of shit and Shinola, right? And I was behind them, and they were like, you know, you only have 3 items, so why don't you go ahead and then, you know, because we have a lot of items. I'm like, thank you very much. So I basically, I checked out, I paid for that, and then I got the fuck out of there, you know. This fucking virus has like fucking crippled this planet to a point where, you know, like there are no flights. And I heard actually that, not that I heard, I just saw news on CNN.com that CDC, as you know, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, has issued travel advisory for 3 states. Which 3 states are? Well, our beloved 3 fucking states of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. So they're saying that people who live in these states, they should not travel until it's really, really essential or necessary. So what the fuck does that mean? So I can't basically just like visit my I don't know, my relative or my friend in Florida. Is that what it is? Probably, sir. So maybe also is also for your benefit, because if you go to Florida and then you get stuck there, then what? Huh? I have no fucking idea. So basically, I think this whole fucking thing with coronavirus is going to have a long-lasting effect on personal lives, work life, and everything else in between. So I was telling my office manager, so by the way, I can work, I can directly log on to our server from here. So can she, right? So can she, because I spoke to my IT guy a couple of days ago, and then he hooked me up. So basically, it's like working from the office for me here. I don't need that fucking office in Manhattan. I'm just going to even if I have to fucking break the lease, but I'm going to talk to my landlord and see what they say, because I don't fucking need that, because that office has given me so much fucking depression and all that, right? Because I have the whole office, I'm paying over $4,300 a month, and yes, I have an architect who has actually, rented a room from me. He's paying me. And then my IT guy, who actually told me today, he used to have a desk there. He told me not today, but a couple of days ago, that he is basically leasing another office space in Midtown, and so he won't need a desk. So I have a fucking empty office in Manhattan, right? I mean, these days every office is fucking empty. But I told my office manager, and she completely agrees with me, that we need to get the fucking rid of that fucking office, because I don't need it. So I had to look into fucking logistics. I'm going to send an email to my landlord, Tom, and that's it. Because why am I fucking paying? And that's the other, so much money. And then that's the other fucking problem, right? The economic impact on small businesses like mine, even restaurants, are so impacted in such a fucking short period of time. Now I haven't seen a fucking check, I haven't seen a fucking single payment from any of my clients in the past 2 to 3 weeks, which means that if you don't see any payments, I'll be fucking homeless. I won't be able to pay the rent. I won't be able to pay the fucking myself. I won't be able to pay my office manager. And I have 2 fucking offices, right? So that's the other reason why I need to get the fucking rid of that fucking office in Financial District, aka Fitty, right? I can't fucking afford to pay that fucking money. I mean, back in 2016, when I had 6 or 7 employees, and I was on the 15th floor, and we had much more work coming in at that time, and much more money coming in at that time, and then that was a fucking mistake I made, because my employees also, they were trying to convince me at that time, hey, by the way, so you need a bigger office, I'm like, I should have said no. Because I had 3 interns at that time, engineering interns from fucking city university. I had my office manager at that time, and 2 permanent engineers, right? Or 3, maybe even 4. So that's why it started getting crowded on the fucking 15th floor, because 15th floor office was just one long if you measure from my living room here, right, from this wall, exterior wall, to to the wall that's actually between our partition that's actually between my bedroom and my bathroom. So it was that long, probably like 30 feet by like, I don't know, 15 feet. And that was fucking perfect. I should have stayed with it. I was paying $1,600 per month. But then I made the fucking mistake of moving to the fucking penthouse because I decided, I said, well, I mean, it started getting crowded because I was having a lot of interns and, and then I thought I was going to expand and all that, right? But then, I don't know, the business actually went down and so now I only have my office manager and then I did interview a couple of engineers. But now, given this fucking bullshit that's happening, everything is fucking shut down. So I'm kind of very concerned. So are everybody else. So is everybody else. That's what you want to say, sir. In New York City, especially, all the restaurants are down except for takeout, I think. But even if you do takeout, I think they're losing money. So they're like, fuck this. It's just easier to just like fucking, shut down and then, how are they fucking paying the rent? Isn't that the same thing that you are saying, sir? Like, how am I paying rent? I sent an email to not my office manager, my landlord, Friday night, right? Which was yesterday night, because what happened was that, every month, first week of the month, although it was very late this month, my accountant, actually, she hired some fucking another, like, accounting person, and then she has no fucking clue what we need. So the spreadsheet she sends to us has no fucking information. Like, for example, if you send an invoice to a client, right? If you send an invoice to a client, and then that invoice has, gets on the customer balance sheet, right? Am I going into, like, my fucking business, like, technicalities here? Just to make this long story short, because this may give you guys who would want to open a business in New York or New Jersey or where the fuck you are, which planet you are, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Well, I guess I'm talking about planet Earth, sir. So let's just stick to planet Earth, okay? Forget the other planets. I'm kind of worked up because, every time we send out an invoice, right? So let's say that, I'm billing a client because we just sent out the drawings. So, we complete the drawings, we sent to them. So now it's time to bill them, right? So we copy, my office manager, she sends out all the invoices. So she copies me, my accountant, and her employee, right? And then every time you get like a customer balance sheet from them means my accountant, right? So that invoice then gets on there that it says, well, this invoice has not been paid, so that's why it's in the customer balance sheet, right? But she has no clue that we also need to know what the fuck the invoice is for, right? I understand, she puts on the client number, the project number, but besides that, there's no other fucking information on those sheets. So my office manager, she's very, very diligent, and she did that herself, And then I told my accountant, listen, my accountant was like, she'll do that, and we are supposed to do that after the tax, after April 15th and all that, right? I'm like, no. I told my office manager because my office manager, we were talking today and then yesterday, I think. And then she said that, I filled out all the information and then, the lady who works for my accountant, she has no fucking clue. So I told her to just send us the blank sheet, with just the basic information they have on fucking QuickBooks. And then my office manager will do it. And that's what she said. And that's the end of the fucking story, right? In any case, so where the fuck I was going with this fucking story? Okay, so this is our bread and butter, invoicing and all that. And if you don't get any fucking, like, payments, because I had, so this is what I wanted to say. So the customer balance sheet, my office manager filled it out. And then I marked it up, it's like 6 or 7 pages, and people owe us up to like $80,000, Many of that is actually pending because some of the projects have not even been like fucking filed, with department buildings with department buildings for most part, right? And many of them, if they were filed, they have not been approved by the Department of Buildings. So I can't really ask for a payment, but I think this is what I need to fucking like not do, and is to bill my clients ahead of like fucking time, So that's what I have to do, and so a lot of those projects which we build them for, where we did complete the plans, but they never went through. They never like fucking like were filed and all that, right? Okay, so am I like fucking turning my podcast into a work podcast? But in any case, the point I'm trying to make is that I had my office manager send like at least like 40 emails with the follow-up invoices, right? With the fucking follow-up invoices to the people who owe us money. And guess what? No response. No fucking response. The only response I got was from an architect that I work with. She told me, because we did work on a restaurant in New York City, in the pristine, West Village area of Manhattan. We were the engineer, right? And so the owner owes us like couple of fucking invoices, right? So we don't have a direct contact with the owner, but the architect is the liaison. So I sent a follow-up email to the architect, and I told her, listen, hello, whatever, I don't want to name the name of the architect. I'm just following up with this email and with these invoices to see if the client was going to pay us. And she said, as you know, Naeem, most of the restaurants in New York City are closed, and they're struggling. I don't know if those were the fucking words she used, but you get my point, right? And so I'm like, okay, so what does that fucking mean? That nobody's going to fucking pay us because everybody's fucking struggling? And is this going to be like a fucking economic disaster with the fucking, what do you call, stocks like fucking getting tanked and all that, right? Well, I don't know if stocks are going to have an impact, but I guess they do. How? I don't know, because stockbrokers are like these fucking animals, as Joe Rogan was saying, And my office is right behind the New York Stock Exchange. My office is right behind New York Stock Exchange. Exchange Place, Broadway, and I'm going to fucking getting rid of that because I don't need to have that fucking office and paying all that fucking rent. And guess what? I spoke to a guy who was going to like take up that penthouse, right? Because remember I mentioned that in my one of my fucking previous podcasts, that I had requested my landlord to give me a smaller office space in one of the lower floors. And so he was showing my office to my penthouse office to potential like tenants. But then, so he told me that he found a tenant, and then a week later he said that no, that it didn't work out, and then basically I had to just like be in the penthouse for like fucking until the end of the fucking lease, which is end of July of 2021. I'm like, fuck this. So I called the guy yesterday or day before, again, and I said, listen, I think I'm going to like fucking get rid of the whole place. If you're interested, then maybe we can talk to our landlord. And he was like, somehow he was not interested. So I asked him, okay, by the way, so just between you and me, what was his name, Jeff? Or Daniel? Daniel, I think, yeah, Daniel. You know, so they own like a law firm, and so I asked them, so what was my landlord offering them when he was showing them my space? So he said close to like $3,200, which is like fucking less than, much less than what I'm paying now. You know what? Fuck this, dude. Fuck this. And just because I signed that fucking lease, and now I can't break the lease. If I break the fucking lease, which means I don't know, I had to basically like lose my fucking deposit, which is like fucking 4 months, and that's over $16,000. I'm not gonna fucking do that. So I have to talk to Tom and see what the fuck he says. All right. So sorry, that's my rant on my fucking. Because this has like made me so depressed over the past 2 years that I have in a fucking office, empty office, and with no like. I mean, it's nice to have an office downtown Manhattan because my expediter comes over there. We talk about all the projects, and I get on the fucking big screen in the front office. But it's not worth it. It's not fucking worth it now. Now that because of this fucking whole coronavirus, right? Because people have learned how to work from home. You can actually work from home. You can talk to your clients. You can talk everything. The only thing for us is printing large scale drawings, which is 24 by 36 size drawings that we sometimes have to print for clients. Although most of the new jobs that we have filed are online only. No fucking printing, no fucking like printing forms, no signing and sealing. It's all fucking online, and that's fucking amazing, right? In any case, okay, so can we change the subject, sir? Because I think I went on a rant about a lot of things. I guess I did. Not a lot of things, but things that actually, are near and dear to me. So there you go. So I will close the chapter on fucking coronavirus and how our lives are going to be fucking changed for the rest of our lives. I think is this going to be like a fucking roaring 20s? Who was saying that? Jim Norton and Sam Roberts on their fucking podcast? Or Joe Rogan? I don't know. I have no fucking idea. But is this going to be roaring 20s when this fucking thing is over? Then everybody's going to be like fucking partying every fucking night? I don't think so. I think people are going to like take a deep breath and then find out what the hell they are going to do because well, first of all, many people are jobless, as you all know, which is kind of sad. About 3.5 million people have actually filed for like jobless applications, whatever you call it, right? And so us struggling, like small business owners, we have to fucking figure out, I mean, it's not very bad for us as professionals as much as it is for restaurants. Because for restaurants, it's basically just like, you know what, that's it. You can't have any like people in the restaurant. Because for us engineers or even architects, we can work from home and we can deliver the drawings, we can do the PDFs, we can do everything online, blah, 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 right? But for people, even like for comedians, this is the end of their fucking career if it doesn't go away, right? Because all these comedians, because all the comedy stores are not open. But everything is all like fucking connected, In terms of economy, everything is connected. Like, okay, so if my restaurant client, is telling me that we can't pay you, sorry, because As you know, we've been struggling and our restaurant is closed. And now we are dealing with how to pay the rent to the landlords. And we are waiting for some stimulus package from the federal government. I believe they have actually passed like a $2 trillion emergency funds. I'm hoping that this money actually, and some of this money can come to us, because as small businesses, actually, I did talk to my accountant, and then we are actually filing applications through SBA, which is the Small Business Agency of the federal government, and also through the city's SBS, which is the Small Business Services, right? Because they have grants and they have like stimulus packages to help small business owners when there is an economic injury. That's the fucking term they use. I fucking love this term that this federal government uses, economic injury. As opposed to what's like a bodily injury. Oh my fucking God, Jesus Christ. In any case, so I filled out all the forms today and I told my office manager, and I downloaded all the pay stubs, from ADP, because I use ADP for my company to run the payroll. So, without fucking ranting and without like disclosing a lot of fucking information, which I guess I did, about my company and what the fuck I'm paying, and for no fucking reason, and so let's talk about something more positive, sir. Like, given the fact that we are going to go bankrupt because of this fucking COVID, stupid COVID, that's what I fucking call it. Let's just have something positive. Okay, so I created a WhatsApp group, with my sister and all these other people from the mountains where we come from, who actually live in New Jersey, New York. And because a lot of people, and one of my dad's very close friend, he lives down in Florida, Orlando, because everybody's kind of like scared in a sense that, everybody's just stuck home and, nobody's getting paid, I think, is that what it is? And they can go to work, or they can, they can't send their children to school. So they have a lot of like fucking free time, right? A lot of free time, which is good to have, but I guess the problem with that is that this fucking coronavirus is just like fucking like created a new norm, a new fucking norm, for everyone, a new fucking norm, I can go to my Jersey City office, but then, I feel like a fucking lunatic because nobody's there. Like all the offices, right, are a ghost town. Do I fucking care? When I have to print the drawings, guess I have to use my plotter, then I'll go there and I don't fucking care. But it just makes me like feel kind of psychologically like feel like, wait a minute. Everybody's home, man. Why don't you just stay home and it's okay, just like take it easy. I don't know. This is affecting us psychologically as well as I think economically and socially, right? So this is the fucking bullshit that we have to fucking deal with. In any case, so on a positive side, actually to distract myself, and I was telling the group that I created, people on the group chat on WhatsApp, don't read the fucking news. Don't watch news because it's all fucking negative, Media is always negative when it comes to something like this. Wildfires, any other natural disaster, don't fucking go on the media because they will always fucking like give you the negative fucking input that will fucking like affect you, impact you, psychologically speaking. All right, just take it easy. So one thing that actually distracted me, because I go on YouTube and I listen to all these comedians and all that, right? Podcasts. Oh yeah, so I was listening to what's the name's podcast. Sam Harris has a podcast, So he posted a video in which he was talking about his recent 5 dry grams psychedelic mushroom trip, and then he was talking about like what happened because him and I mean I have never taken any of that, but in that scale, but many of us actually have been inspired by Terence McKenna, and he has all these videos and he wrote books on these psychedelics and what it means to be in psychedelic realm. Terence McKenna talks about, like, openly talks about what he actually encounters when he takes like a heroic dose of like mushrooms. I mean, I don't want to talk about mushrooms, but I think what Sam was talking about was that we need to, like, and I think I've said this many times in my podcast, that we need to have like a honest dialogue about these psychedelics, especially the ones which are natural. I'm not talking about acid and like fucking Molly and all that, right? I'm talking about like some of these psychedelics which have such a prolonged positive effect on people's mind in their lives, And this is something that needs to be actually explored by people who are experts on this, in a very controlled, what do you call, not in a hippie, like fucking like Bushwick rave party scene, but in a very like, conducive, controlled, informed, setup, where if people have mental illness, addictions, those can be treated using these psychedelics. So that was one thing that distracted me from this fucking whole bullshit with coronavirus. The other thing that I stumbled upon on YouTube was, architectural. What was that fucking? Jesus fucking Christ. Hold on a second. Oh, Architectural Digest. Architectural Digest, as you know, I think is a company or non-profit that actually talks about architecture and buildings and blah blah blah. So somehow I came across this video. What's his name? Aaron Paul. Yeah, Aaron Paul. The guy from Breaking Bad. Him and his wife, and they have a kid as well. Architectural Digest actually were showing. They have a YouTube channel, so I'm watching a YouTube video where Aaron Paul and his wife were showing us his house, where they have built this fucking amazing like house in Idaho, somewhere in Idaho, right? Where there's a river down there, it snows, and like they have like these fucking like real actual like fucking fireplaces, like wood fireplaces, fucking amazing house that they have built. Fucking amazing house. I mean, obviously, Aaron Paul has money. He was saying that he used to live in a closet because when he was like poor, and then finally, he became successful through, as you all know, if you know, the famous TV show, Breaking Bad. He was one of the lead actors in that show, and along with what's his fucking name, Bryan Cranston, right? And Jonathan, whatever the fuck his name is, Jonathan. But in any case, so I think he made some money, and then so I think obviously he has a lot of money because he made Not only Breaking Bad, but then they made a movie as well. I'm trying to remember the name. Oh, El Camino, El Camino. And then Better Call Saul. I don't think Better Call Saul has Aaron Paul in that. But in any case, so they were showing like the architectural digest. They go into these houses designed by these fucking amazing architects. And I relate to that because I'm an engineer. We work with a lot of like building owners. Building owners, house owners, new buildings. Like ground up apartment renovations and all that. So we work with a lot of architects and clients. So that was a good distraction. And then YouTube is like a fucking hole. So once you watch something like that, and then the next one is like, whose house? John Stamos' house in Beverly Hills and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, but that's enough. So, but that's a good distraction if you guys are into like houses and all that. And obviously, you watch a lot of movies and shows, and I have a lot of topics. Not a lot of topics. I have some good topics in my cheat sheet I want to talk about in my... What the fuck am I saying? When I talk about in my cheat sheet, I'm talking about ba 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 boo ba ba. So yeah, I have some topics and shows and all that, and so why don't we just get into our cheat sheet, everyone, huh? How is everyone doing, huh? I presume you all are safe out there. Don't get the fucking coronavirus, and stay at home as much as you can. Whatever you have to do, make some food, have your booze, or whatever you're doing, right? And just stay fucking inside, and because you never fucking know. Am I gonna sound like fucking like who? Somebody, I guess. Because, we have a lot of fucking cases in New York, especially. It's so fucking bad. Oh my fucking God. But luckily, you know what it is? Because we don't have a lot of deaths in the US as opposed to Italy. Because Italy, I think, not that I think, but I was reading an article on BBC. Jesus fucking Christ, am I going to like talk about Corona all the fucking time? And it's fucking like psychologically affecting us that we're talking about this fucking thing all the time, right? Okay, so I talked about like, what's his name's house? Aaron Paul's house in Idaho, the beautiful, pristine Idaho, where they have deer and like bears crossing the fucking river. Back to fucking coronavirus, right? What the fuck am I trying to say, sir? No, what the fuck I'm trying to say is that never mind, I forgot. Never mind. It's better to not talk about fucking coronavirus. You know why? Because it's just a fucking shit show. It's just a fucking shit show. So the point I was trying to make is that, I've been watching a lot of shows and movies because I'm home and I try to work as much as I can. And but it's just tough because this is like a fucking like this is like a big change for everyone. Like why am I home all the fucking time? Jesus fucking Christ. So let's just get into our cheat sheet. I have some great topics I want to talk about, and it's already like past midnight on a Saturday night, and I don't want to go on and on about. All right, everyone. I presume you all are safe again, without repeating myself. All right, so my first topic: company income amidst Corona emergency. So I basically beat that. I beat that topic to death. Like how is it going to fucking impact us, which is already impacting us? means that, we can't go to the office. I don't even know if we have received any checks in Manhattan office because I can't go there. Not that I can't go there, but it's just like, I don't want to go to fucking Manhattan when it's like a fucking epicenter of the fucking coronavirus. And so yeah, hopefully, this fucking thing peaks. I think it's gonna peak soon in New York, and then it's gonna be over because just like China, it peaked and then it went down, right? Italy, Italy. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Italy, I think, because it has a lot of like elderly population. It has a lot of elderly population, and people don't really like believe in social distancing. They want to have a little bit of pizza and like a little wine and interact with your like fucking neighbors and blah blah blah. But in any case, so don't hold me on to that one because I may not be correct in that one, but I think that's one of the reasons why they have a lot of fucking deaths. Jesus fucking Christ. My friend Ryan in South Williamsburg. Okay, so our cases, apparently, many of the cases here in Northeast, especially in New York, in New York City, apparently are in Williamsburg, South Williamsburg, and all those other neighborhoods where all the Hasidic fucking Jewish people live, right? So I have no issue or anything with Hasidic Jews or any other religious people or whatever. But I think there's got to be a reason why we have a lot of like cases like that, and also Highbridge neighborhood in the Bronx, which I don't think has anything to do with Hasidic Jews. However, I don't know. There's got to be a pattern, and so my friend Ryan, he was like very afraid because he doesn't live in the Hasidic Jewish neighborhood of New Williamsburg, Brooklyn. But he lives just on Broadway. And south of Broadway is the Hasidic Jewish community. North of Broadway is all the fucking hipsters, So he lives on the north side, but he was saying that, he's very afraid and scared that he may get the fucking virus. I'm like, dude, just smoke some weed, drink some bourbon, you'll be fine. So I checked on him on I think Friday, and he was saying that he was fine. Okay, so and my cousin from my dad's side, apparently he had some issues with his parents regarding his love life, and so I gave him some piece of advice, and I told him, you listen, so you have to pursue your fucking like love life. Who cares? You are the one who's going to live with her life, not with her life, sir. You are the one who's going to live with her, not your parents. So don't like be rebellious. Don't sound like rebellious, but be very wise and logical. And then it's your life. It's your fucking life, and pursue what you have to pursue. Okay, and convince them in a logical sense. Convince your parents in a logical sense that it's your love life, and she's not like some like fucking whatever, and then known her from school or whatever it is, right? And then my next topic, everyone, Rozi Khan and Dinklage Lannistar. Why the fuck do I have this? Rozi Khan and Dinklage Lannistar. Okay, so Dinklage Lannistar, as you all know from like fucking, what is that fucking movie? A Game of Thrones, is that what it is? Game of Thrones, or even like fucking the Hobbits movies. I'm trying to remember because I don't fucking like watch any of those fucking movies. I'm not into those. And then this waiter in one of the Pakistani restaurants in UK, right? So they look so much fucking alike, and they are very like short, right? I don't want to call them midgets, but I guess that's what they are, right? So Rozi Khan exactly looks like fucking Dinklage Lannistar. So check it out. I think there's a YouTube video, kind of funny, you know. And it's already 49 minutes, everyone. Oh, my last topic. Now, this is a big one. Why, sir? Why is it a big one? Huh? Why is it a big one? It's a big one. It's a really big one. Rise of the fucking Skywalker. Oh, my fucking God. So, I'm going to try not to have any spoiler alerts for all of you who have never seen Rise of the fucking Skywalker, the 9th and the last episode of the Star Wars saga, right? So what the fuck is going to happen after this? I'm just trying to remember. Are they going to make more Star Wars movies? Maybe another set of like 9 series? I have no fucking idea. But it's a fucking epic, like fucking epic. And then the turn it took, you know, in the middle or like kind of like after the middle of the movie, you know, Kylo Ren and what's her name, Rey. Oh my fucking God. And fucking Palpatine. Jesus fucking Christ. And there are so many fucking revelations in that movie. Oh my fucking God. I saw it first with my girlfriend, you know, last Friday. I think not last Friday, but the Friday before. And then I watched it again, you know, in my bedroom. I have that big TV. Oh my fucking God, dude. Jesus Christ. And then I was watching the 8th, you know, the Return of the Jedi last night. And then I think I'm going to watch the 7th one, you know, what's the fucking 7th one? All you fucking diehard, you know, like Star Wars fans out there. What's the fucking 7th one? Jesus fucking Christ. Where Han Solo. Okay. If you guys haven't seen any of these fucking like recent ones, I'm not gonna fucking say anything because you're gonna fucking blame me for having spoiler alerts. So the point I'm trying to make is that Rise of the Skywalker has fucking amazing fucking like these turns of the story, you know? Who fucking like directed this? J.J. Abrams. I think J.J. Abrams, you know, he's a fucking great director. So I think with that said, it's already 52 minutes, and so I'm going to close my podcast. So check out my podcast on my YouTube channel, as you all know. It's Cooking So Simple, one word. And then on SoundCloud, I'm going to upload my audio podcast, and then you can just search for Weekend Podcast with Naeem. Weekend Podcast with Naeem. You can just search in SoundCloud, and then you can find my channel on SoundCloud, and then you will find my podcast. And with that said, I'll see you all. Oh, by the way, so I did a cooking video yesterday, I think. Was that yesterday? I think so. I did a cooking video yesterday, and you know, with some. Was that yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before. So I did that cooking video and I uploaded it, so you can find that on my YouTube channel. Again, Cooking So Simple, and I'll see you all next weekend.